Good afternoon everybody and welcome to the first webinar for standard drafters. So during the year, CCMC will hold 6 webinars which aim to work towards a common understanding of the drafting rules and the related procedures. And it's a good opportunity for technical body secretaries to build a working relationship with the CCMC editors and for us to better understand your expectations. Now, this first webinar looks at the collaboration between the CCMC Publications Unit and technical bodies through some main steps of the procedures. So, hello, who are we? Well, I'm Matthew Tomlin, I'm the Standards Publications Unit Manager, and I'm here today with
Jens Erdmann, supporting Matthew in the running of the team.
And I should just mention that we didn't coordinate our wardrobes today, but it just so happens that we're both wearing very similar shirts. But I think that it's worked out very well. What do you think, Jens?
Yeah, it gives confidence.
Good. So, during this webinar, we'd like to hear from you, so please do have your say. We'd like you to share your thoughts and experiences and suggestions, and time permitting, we will respond to some of these questions at the end of this webinar. Also, we will make the recording and the question and answers available online on the Sensenelec website, and here is the link now appearing on the screen. Now, in our 4th webinar, which will be running in September, we're going to come back to this topic of collaboration and we'll review how we communicate and collaborate with each other. What about the topics that we're going to cover today?
So we will start with the delivery of the drafts to CCMC. We will have a look in the in-check and the work allocation. We also will talk about the editor's role, the handling of languages and related translation procedure, and the final voting results, and taking this into account, the publication.
Okay, so let me start with the delivery of your drafts to CCMC. Just briefly, what is this about? Well, at CCMC, we are the central hub for processing incoming documents for all the SEN and Senelec technical bodies. And these incoming documents are known as first deliveries. We receive your documents. Why? Well, in order for us to be able to launch the procedures, the inquiries, the formal votes, the UAPs, etc. And we're also responsible for updating the database. We edit documents, we manage translations, and we issue drafts to the members. So, Jens, perhaps you'd like to kickstart this session today by talking about the delivery of the drafts and what we need from technical bodies.
Thanks, Matthew. In fact, we need first of all the documents for the processing. The revisable Word version in either .x or .doc document format, the PDF with the equations and the figures included as a reference version for us should we have doped in the handling of the documents, and very important, the transmission notice, which contains all relevant information that we need for the correct registration of the document. So this is an example in the background, and you find all the related information. In particular, what interests us is the correct procedure step we have to go, and very specific information we have to take into account. So in SEN, we have the delivery of separate files, but separate means not embedded in the document, but at a separate set of documents, but together sent with the former mentioned documents. And if you have any doubt about the filling in of the transmission notice, the use of it, or getting it available, please let us know and we will help you. It is very important. We noticed that quite some specific information is needed or needs to be highlighted by you. If you need to show that, please use the comment section below so that we take this into account. What is typical is like extended UWs or very specific link to regulations and directives of the Commission, etc.
Thanks, Jens. Now, if I'm a TC secretary, I might be asking myself, well, how do I deliver my drafts? Could you perhaps talk about this a little bit?
Yes, there are two different ways in CCMC to receive the documents. We have the send way, which is the zipped file with all the documents in, sent via eTrans on live link, and this is an example. When the document is uploaded that way by the technical committee officers, then we will have a link to the tool and automatic download into CCMC. This means that every morning we get an extract of all the day before uploaded documents in a very specific folder and do our in-check on that. If there's anything going wrong, IC, the tool where our tool is based on, will give us a notice and we can investigate and come back to you to get this solved. In Senelec, we have the generic email address where you can send all your documents.
Thanks very much, Jens. So, a few little extra pieces of information for you. Did you know that for SEN, eTrans is not just a platform for document exchange, it's also a document repository. And all the files are stored and archived in the launch issue folder for each stage of the development of the standard. And this is accessible to all technical body secretaries. In Senelec, we deliver the launched and published files to the technical committee secretaries by email. But for both SEN and Senelec technical committee secretaries, access to the current files is available via Projects Online. And you just have to look out for this little tab here in order to access the current files of your chosen projects. Now, as I said before, please have your say. We'd like to hear from you on your experiences of using some of these tools that we've just mentioned. And do you have any suggestions on how we can improve the delivery of your drafts to CCMC? Okay, so next we're going to talk about the CCMC in-check and work allocation. So what is all this about? Well, we check incoming first deliveries. We do this on a daily basis. As soon as you deliver a draft to us, our clock starts ticking. We've got defined timeframes within which to do our work, and we have internal key performance indicators that monitor our progress. So we will contact you immediately if we find that something's wrong with your first delivery or if we need something more from you. Now, during this in-check process of your documents, we allocate the target dates. So these target dates indicate the next steps of the procedure, for example, the translation, the launch and the end dates of the procedure, or even the publication date. And of course, we will allocate an editor in order to process your draft. So Jens, perhaps you'd like to talk about how the allocation works.
Yeah, thanks, Matthew. We have 5 in-depth editors: Frederick, Sophie, Cynthia, Elysia, and Stephanie. And we allocate to those 5 in-depth editors all the documents for procedure by number of pages to ensure a kind of target date of 250 pages per editor per week. For the internal work allocation, we have an overview tool which supports us in the programming of the work allocation and the follow-up of the documents. Here is a short extract from that tool. So this is for us, for have an overview, But Matthew, can you tell us how the secretaries see that?
Sure. So this can be seen on the projects online. Now, once we have updated our database, on the very next day, you can consult projects online. And through projects online, you'll be able to see the allocated editor's name, their email address, and their direct phone number. Here's an example. This is one of Fred's work, and as you can see here, he's completely contactable through the information given. And also in projects online, you're going to be able to see the target dates that we allocated for the project. Again, have your say on anything that we've just gone through. You might be interested to know that we have a planned pilot scheme for a single contact editor per technical committee to perform the editing. Would you be interested in joining this initiative? Please get in touch. Right, I think we should look at the next topic now, Jens. We'll talk about the CCMC editor's role. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about their responsibilities.
Yeah, the main responsibility is, of course, editing of all incoming documents for procedure. But it also, in certain cases, requires proofreading of documents. And we have to pay very much attention to related information with that draft. Example, consult assessments, etc., etc. Then the building and maintaining of effective relationship with technical bodies is very important, and we always aim to have as personal as possible contact. Then the consistency, accuracy, and in detail correctness of all standards, not only series or TC related, but the overall standards collection needs to be kept in mind. So this is also an important task. Furthermore, the overall quality in lingual, in document style, and also in the formatting. At the end of the procedure, when we come close to publication, we also the editors also have to ensure the correct handling of the voting comments, not only handling the voting comments itself, but also the comments that were given, and to prepare the final publication of the document. What is rather new, but also requires a lot of attention, is the creation of a correct XML version of the standards that give the members advanced use possibilities of the standard text, and ensuring to keep in set timeframes for all the projects.
Okay, Jens, that's really good. Now, perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about what editing actually is.
Yeah, editing is mainly the taking into account and ensuring correctness of the documents against the internal regulations part 3 rules for the structure and drafting of scientific publications, which on itself are based on the ISO IEC directives part 2. This meaning that we have in the international and European standardization a consistent set of rules for the handling of documents and for the drafting of the documents. For the XML, we have a very extensive styling and formatting of the documents to be fit that we can extract at final publication the XML and deliver the XML to the members. And we aim with everything to complete in set timeframes. On the right hand side you see the extract of a February editing overview. So Matthew, what else can we do?
Well, did you know that the CCMC editors are available to give support to technical bodies? All you need to do is contact us, and you should use our generic email address, theproduction@sensenelect.eu. The editors can give you support to you whilst you're drafting your standard. Now, editors can also support you at your meetings. Are you planning a meeting in the Sensenelec Meeting Centre? Well, we're just upstairs, so do get in touch and we'll see if there's a CCMC editor who is available to come and join you and help you with whatever it is that needs tackling.
So, but Matthew, let me remind that even if you are in the, if the officers are in the meeting center and have no question, just let us know, and we will introduce you, if interested, to the team so that you know the editors personally.
Definitely, that's a very good idea. And hey, we've just shown all the photos of the editors, so I think it would be a good idea for them to be able to see and put faces to names of technical body members. Good. So, don't forget everybody, have your say. What is your experience of collaborating with the CCMC editors? And have you got any suggestions for improvement? We would be very happy to hear from you. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Jens, let's talk about official languages and translation.
Yeah, thanks, Matthew. We have, in fact, in Sen and Senelec 3 official languages, English, French, and German. And we have to ensure the trilinguality set Senelec translation procedure, which is aiming at securing the official language versions, setting the responsibilities, which are TC for the reference version, CCMC for the editing of the reference version, translators for the translations, and even if, yeah, that's it. We have certain timeframes. These timeframes are set for 8 weeks for inquiries, 6 weeks for formal votes as from July, currently still 8 weeks, and 4 weeks for publications. But Matthew, are there extensions for these timeframes possible?
Well, yes. Did you know, since we're talking about timeframes, according to the Senelec translation procedure, the translators can ask for extensions. Now, what are the criteria for the extensions? It's all related to the size of the documents. So, for example, if the document's between 80 and 120 textual pages, the translators could ask for up to 12 weeks for the translation. If it's beyond 120 pages, the translation period can go up to 16 weeks. Now, this is important for you to know for your project planning. But of course, when we receive a request from the translators, we will get in contact with you to inform you and to see if this can actually fit with your project planning. On another note, if you have translations of your own work, you can include them with your first delivery. So let me explain. Perhaps there are members of your working group who have translations of the French or German versions of the project. If you deliver this along with your first delivery, we can pass this on to the official translators. They might find it useful for their work, but of course the decision to use your translations lies with the official translators. Who are the official translators? Well, for the French we have translators at AFNOR, and for the German we have translators at DIN and DKE. So again, do have your say. Are there any elements of the translation that need more clarity? Please get in touch. Right, let's move on to the last topic, which is the voting results and publication. So you might be asking yourself, when and how do I get the voting results? Well, let's start with Senelec. Now in Senelec, all votes close on a Friday, so on Monday you will get the results of the vote. CCMC is responsible for the compilation and distribution of the voting results, and for Senelec work you will receive these via email. In Sen, within 24 hours of the closure of the vote, CCMC again will make the results available, and the delivery channel for these is eTrans. The comments also accompany the voting results. Now, once a ballot is closed and the outcome is made available, we cannot alter the results. But of course, any late or additional incoming comments can be accepted, and we will be only too happy to pass those on to the responsible technical body secretary. So, you might be asking yourselves, what do I have to do for the publication? Well, let me just go through a few of the steps. For homegrown European standards, it's actually CCMC's responsibility to finalise the publication and handle the voting comments. So once that's done, the editor will then send the technical committee secretary the finalised text, including the comments with annotations of what the editor has done with the comments, and the technical committee secretary receives that for a 3-week proofing period. Now, just to note here that in CEN, when skipping the formal vote, it is necessary to upload a transmission notice onto eTrans, and that will notify us that we are to then start the finalisation of the publication process. In CENELEC, only inquiries with the results of 100% will result in skipping the formal vote, and there, in that case, CCMC will automatically start the finalisation of the publication and send the text to the TC secretary for the 3-week proofing period. Okay, just a few little bits of information. Did you know that in 2015 we issued well over 2,500 voting results? Now, it's very important for us to state that at the publication stage, technical changes are not allowed. I mentioned before that formal vote can be skipped. It all depends on the outcome of the inquiry. If you want to know more about the inquiry procedure, we're going to be back holding another webinar, and that's on the 31st of March. To register, you can click on the link here. This presentation will be made available, like I said before, on the CENELEC website. If you're planning on keeping the formal vote, please do use the inquiry draft, because the CCMC editor will have already styled and done an in-depth edit on it, so it would be a real shame for you not to use that edited text. So finally, please let us know your comments and have your say. Which aspects of this process need more clarity for you? Are you happy with the current method of the proofing requests from the editor at publication? Okay, so we've reached the end now of this first webinar, but before we take a look at the questions that have been coming in, perhaps Jens, you'd like to tell us about the next webinar for standard drafters.
Yeah, please be informed that the second one will be planned for 21st of April and will handle the use of templates, the structure and the introduction elements of a standard.